Hello and welcome to this introduction to Searching Medline with the Web of Science. I'm Elizabeth Yates, Liaison Librarian for the Faculty of Applied Health Sciences. Medline is pretty much the preeminent biomedical database used around the globe and it's produced by the U.S. National Library of Medicine. It's available through various different search interfaces, including Web of Science, the Ovid platform, and PubMed. It contains more than 26 million citations from over 5,600 journals dating back to 1946, and it's really a key resource for finding research on any health-related topic. Now for the Web of Science. It's another information resource. It's multidisciplinary. It's got a very broad range of content. It covers sciences, social sciences, arts and humanities, and more. And there's a version called the Web of Science Complete, which includes the MEDLINE database. And Web of Science content includes journal articles, books, data, and conference proceedings. And it has a very long tail. Some of the content in Web of Science dates back more than 100 years. So to search Medline through the Web of Science interface, we're going to start off by going through the Kinesiology Research Guide. Always go to the Find Articles tab. Then you'll see a list of different databases that are useful for kinesiology research, and here we have Web of Science Complete. So here's what it looks like. It's a pretty streamlined, straightforward resource. I like it because it's much simpler to use than other resources. For example, if you needed to search Medline through the Ovid database, it's a lot more complicated. So let's start off looking for a very basic topic. And when you're searching in Web of Science or other databases, it's very helpful if you could just break down your research question into different concepts and then search each concept on separate search lines. So I'm going to search for the concept of asthma. I'm going to add another row and look for children because your course is focused on exercise in children. And then I'm going to add the concept of exercise. So this is a very, very broad search just for demonstration purposes. You'll see that it's being searched as a topic in Web of Science. You have the option to also do searches for author, title, publication name, etc. Not a lot of different choices for focusing your search here. And also just wanted to take a moment to point out the all databases have been selected. If you wanted to, you could just search Medline directly, but because there will be other content in the Web of Science that will be useful to you, I'm just going to leave that all databases selected. So I'm going to go ahead and click Search. And as I mentioned, it's a very broad search, so not really surprising to see that we're getting over 4,000 results. A couple of things to pay attention to here is how the results are being sorted. So in Web of Science, the default sort is by date. They really want to show you the most recent content first. But that's not always very helpful, I find. So I prefer to search by relevance. And that way you make sure that you're getting the content that's most relevant to your search terms. And so you can see there's the keywords relating to our search terms are highlighted here. And there's a great deal of literature related to that very broad idea of exercise in children with asthma. So obviously you don't want to be searching through 4,000 results. So there's a few things you can do to refine your results. You can add another keyword to your search. But before we have a look at that, let's look at some of the other filters here. So filters or features or limits are some of the words that are used for these items on the left-hand navigation menu here that gives you options for refining your search. You could select, for example, perhaps only articles from the past 5 years. Often it is very important when looking at health topics to look at recent research because treatments change so rapidly. You can select research domains that you're interested in. You're probably not interested in arts and humanities literature or social sciences literature for this particular purpose, so you might want to restrict to the science technology domain. Again, you have the option of selecting certain databases here. You'll see that the bulk of the citations are coming from MEDLINE. There's different document types, funding agencies. If we view more options, you'll see you can only search for open access articles, specific countries or regions, specific titles, etc. But to actually refine your search by topic, I would suggest going back to the search field and adding another row. So for example, in here, you could see if there's a particular intervention that you're interested in. Is there a certain type of treatment that might enhance the ability of kids with asthma to exercise? Is there a particular age group that you're interested in? You could use keywords for that, and so on. So I'm just going to get out of the Web of Science database and go back to our presentation here. And so that's just a refresher on how strategies for searching MEDLINE in the Web of Science. And we already talked about these, but just a few ways you can focus your results in Web of Science by database, publication year, document type, etc. And again, getting more specific with your search terms. And one more thing to illustrate in the Web of Science, if you have a topic where you were having a little bit of difficulty finding research, Web of Science has a feature that can be quite helpful in tracing research on the same topic, and it's called citation tracing. So you're probably familiar with the idea of looking at the list of references in an article so that you can also mine them for information. But Web of Science actually allows you to do something a little bit different. That's called backward citation tracing. But in Web of Science, you can do something called forward citation tracing. And that's where you can actually go and look ahead and see who has cited the particular article that you're interested in. So that's a really helpful way of finding information that may be on topics that are difficult to track. Okay. That's it for this video.